Hey everyone, welcome to Bitch Up. My name is Lucero,
My name is Ixchel.
and we're back for season 4. And we have some if you guys are listening on Spotify, we have updated, we have upgraded,
We've upgraded
our
our
pod.
recording space.
Yes, and I think we are officially on camera. We're officially on camera.
On video?
On
Is that
video?
what it's called?
Yeah.
We're new, obviously.
Sorry,
After 4 years.
we don't know how to act.
Yeah.
But, yeah, hopefully we have a visual. This is
Jeez.
hoping that we know how to
Just kidding.
edit this and upload this on YouTube. But
Yes. If it makes it to you, that means that everything worked out.
Yeah.
As it was supposed to. And if it doesn't, then
so if it
we're
worked
speaking
out,
to the void.
go like on YouTube.
What is it? Rate, like, and subscribe.
Yeah. Anyways, how are we doing? This feels a little weird.
Yeah, it does. 'cause
Right?
We're in a.
I don't know how to act. I'm just like, oh wait, how should I
I
position
know. I was like,
myself?
I don't want to.
Don't. You're just like,
I'm just like, I don't want to move awkward. No, I'm just kidding. And meanwhile, I am actually moving awkward.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
this is new territory, so brace. So actually, bear with us as we tread this water.
We're still trying to figure out everything, and this whole even space might
This
change.
is a transition period.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. We bitched up,
But we're here for the journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bitching up and being on a journey,
Yeah.
do we have any bitch up moments?
I feel like you've had a lot of bitch moments lately.
I feel like I haven't, but
Really?
yeah, I feel like I've just been kind of really focusing this first quarter.
That is a bitch up moment in itself.
Yeah, but not it's not anything that I haven't already been doing.
Okay.
Work is work. And we've just been really focusing, I think, quarter 1 of this year, which is crazy that we're already going into quarter 2 so quickly. So much has happened, I feel.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can't just catch a break. We can't just rest, relax, and regenerate.
What's crazy because we wrapped up last season and we're like, looking into the new year, and now we blinked and we're like a third in.
Yeah.
It's gonna be summer already. Half the year's gone.
But it's okay, because if you guys are new to this podcast, you guys know that the reason we start in March, well, technically, hopefully this video and podcast and episode will be going out usually after spring. That's usually around the time that we upload.
Well, we're officially in springtime.
We're already officially in. And so, it's a new beginning. It's
big bird.
Yes.
New beginnings. Yeah.
And hone in on whatever goals that you had set up for yourself at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, if you fucked around January, even February, we're March. Now we're in April, so it's time to lock in if you haven't already.
It's time for you to bitch
Hopefully
up.
you've been practicing instead of
You've been thinking about it. You've been visualizing
you've been mentally preparing for
Yes.
it. I feel like that's what's happened to me.
You're like, I've just been I'm going to do this in March.
I've just been noodling on a lot of things, and now it's time to action.
Well, as far as bitching up for me, I will say that for the longest time, I don't know if I think I have told you this, but I really wanted to do adult ballet, because I have been seeing it on TikTok, but it's so hard to find classes, especially around the IE. It's very difficult.
That, and I think just because ballet is so, I don't want to say niche, but it's a true art form. And you know how you can go and find a salsa class or a class for hip hop, those are a lot more accessible than I feel like ballet classes, because those are more of
for kids that are starting out,
that are going to be serious about it and move into it and be doing it professionally, not so much for let's learn. Exactly, there you go. There's not a lot of recreational versions.
So I don't think I ever said this in any of the previous seasons. So previously I had been taking these heels class, and this is more on my time. I don't think I ever mentioned it in the pod, but I had met a friend now who was a teacher there, and now she so happened to open her own studio about a year or 2 ago.
Nice.
And now she has monthly workshops where they offer different classes. They offer the heels class, they offer Latin dances, so salsa, bachata, and they so happen to offer ballet workshop for adults. And I was like, my prayers have been answered. I'm gonna go. Shelly and I were supposed to go together.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be like a little bitch up activity content.
It was, yeah.
I did record it, so you guys will see.
Lucy still went in representation of us, and she did great.
I had the teacher to myself, you guys. So,
I know, it was so cool. It's like, oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, so I got a little one-on-one.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I think that my Pilates and my bar workouts that I had been doing on my own set me up for success. And I was like, okay, great. This is nothing new. I was sore. I was still so sore.
I feel like you had good form. Like from the video I saw, it was like you were giving good form.
Yeah, but my body, even my shoulders and my back were sore. And this is just because I was like trying to be the ballerina arms.
You were like,
I was like, I look stupid looking at the videos. I'm like, I look like a little T-Rex that doesn't have arms.
You don't.
But yeah, I mean, I think that was my bitch up moment. I went to a ballerina class by myself, and I think when it comes to like having one-on-one with a teacher that you don't know, I didn't know this choreographer, but she was great. Made me feel super confident and like not awkward at all.
Yeah, and I think it helped that you guys have your background of knowing each other, right?
No,
this is a different.
So
teacher?
the owner. So I know the owner of the dance studio. Okay. So the dance studio is called A Time to Dance.
Yeah.
Here in Fontana, and
I was gonna say plug them in.
Yeah, go check them out if you guys have a kiddo that you guys want to enter dance class, or if you guys just want to, join some workshops
that wants to
learn how to dance. Go ahead and join them. Yeah. But Michaela was actually the dance teacher that led that class, and she was great. Apparently she's had like 20 years of dance experience. She does like hip hop, dance, tap, like jazz, a whole bunch of she has a lot of knowledge. So
nice.
She was great.
I thought that she was the owner of the studio, your friend, and that's why I thought like, oh, that's so cool that you got like a one-on-one with her. Mm-hmm. And just because like I think the dynamic between you two seemed very much like you guys were familiar. Like it was given like you guys were in sync with each other. Mm-hmm. Like it didn't feel like you're like like you were like in any way intimidated by her. And like you were serious about it, obviously.
Yes.
And it was giving teacher and student, but it didn't look awkward.
I don't know. It felt a little weird because I think when I first started taking my heels class, like 2 years ago, because I stopped taking it once we moved out together.
Oh, that's right.
So it was around 2 years ago. It was a little awkward because I was never used to going to things by myself and like having to interact with a lot of adults. I think at my age it's a little weird making friends now.
Yeah.
And you go do like recreational things on your own, so it's definitely interesting. I think now it's like, okay, like I can banter with someone I don't know one-on-one and make sure it's not awkward, and but I also was like, I really am an athlete. Like I am really one of those people that just takes it in and does it, and I'm like, I really haven't lost your
touch,
athletic touch. And I was so proud of myself. So
you didn't think you were an athlete anymore? I feel like when you're an athlete your whole life. Like that's not always like you're an athlete. Like you're the one better posed for something like this.
Yeah, but I think it's more so. It's like I haven't been in an athletic space where I'm coached through things, and so now I'm like, oh, I really take well to like coaching, and and now as an adult, I think when I was younger, I would be a little bit more inside my head and like, am I doing this fine? I'm like, okay, even if I'm not doing it fine, there's still like room for improvement here, and like not getting so much in my head about like not doing things perfectly. Like yes, the attempt is there and that's the goal, but it's not like the world's going to end because you didn't do it right the first time.
Yeah, I feel like you don't feel like the world's on your shoulder anymore. Like you don't feel that pressure, and now it's more of like enjoying what you're doing and having a good time, not so much of like perfection.
And then, like I mentioned, I did record this, so even that was like a challenge in its own, because I'm like, okay, this is my first time recording in like a public space like this. Luckily, it's like one-on-one, but I do think it's a little awkward when you're like recording yourself with other people. So I think that'll be like a little test for us.
Yeah, because I feel like some people don't take well to that, and you're in a public space, so some people be like, hey, why are you recording me, or things like that. It's going to be interesting to navigate those.
But it was fun. So I can't wait for you to come with me next time.
I know, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'll just sharpen up my form. No, just
like my posture.
I was like, how does one with an... No, I'm just kidding. Certainly it's going to be a bitch up moment because like I think I've talked about it before how I don't like group classes. Like that's something that I've always stayed away from.
Oh, that's
like, remember like workout classes because I've never been like in a dance studio like that because I just don't like, I've always had really bad coordination, but I realized that it's not so much that I probably just got in my head about it. It's mostly just my arm stuff because I'm just like, I don't know how to work around that kind of stuff. And then
Yeah.
I'm just like, instead of like sticking out like a sore thumb, it's just like, I'm just gonna remove myself and do what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, like I know my limits. I'm just kidding. So that certainly I think is gonna be a bitch up experience when we get to do that.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the bitch up moments that we're going to have, do you have any bitch up moments currently that you went through, or?
Yeah, I feel like this year has been very challenging for me for many reasons, and I think that some of the things that I've been through and like just having to like step up have been bitch up moments in themselves. I'm obviously not going to get like too much into detail with it because it's like more personal, but I do think that
She's like, I've been tested.
Yeah, you know, and I'm just like, you know, I'm trying to grow from it. So at best, that is my bitch up moment that I'm trying to grow from all the challenges that I've been through. Yeah, because I'm just, that's I think the closest thing I can get to a bitch up moment right now.
But that's fine.
But no, I think we're excited to, like, we're going to be launching that new series of bitch up activities, and we're going to try new things that we wanted to do and maybe for whatever reason hadn't done it, or things that we're doing together too, right?
Yeah, I think this season is more so of like really clocking in and just getting like, shit done.
That, and I think it's gonna be nice to also just like do stuff, right? Because I feel like we're always
talking and
about things we want to do, but like life always gets in the way, and then we're like, oh well, like we'll just wait. Like we're like, oh well, I guess we'll do it next year. We'll do this, and I feel like it's more of like, let's just do it. Like let's not just think about it too much. Like just do things.
Just book it.
Exactly, we love saying that. Yeah, book it. Yeah. So that's our motto. Book it.
Book it.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, that's the goal, I think, this year for sure. It's doing a lot more content. Obviously, one of the goals for this season was to get a visual of the podcast, which, fingers crossed.
So prepare to be sick of us. Like, if you guys weren't already sick of us by hearing our voices, now you also get our faces.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope that you guys appreciate it. I was kidding.
Right.
I hope you guys enjoy it. I think
that's what we want to put forth, just for you guys to enjoy this content and just as much as we enjoy making it.
Exactly.
We're going to start a dating series for Lucy, especially now that we have videos. We're going to have people
Shut up.
April Fools.
You know what? One episode.
That'd be so fun to do, though. Like, we just, like, bring in people and, like, speed date with you.
No,
as a content. Not. It'd be fun. I know it would be fun for you.
I don't think I would want to do it in this format.
Not here. Like, we would record content about it, and it would be like a series. As I said.
And then we can like. I don't like the apps personally.
I would love to get her on that,
but it would be
for
more
this
so
experience
judging
for the plot.
For like just
like
let's go through these profiles and figure out why you guys are having a hard time dating, and by you guys I mean men.
No, I think it'd be good for like to have like your perspective, right? Of like because I've seen this like on TikTok where like there's somebody that is going through profiles on like Tinder and stuff like that, and they're like just calling out all the things that are like problematic or flags and stuff. So I'd love to hear from your perspective and like the type of person you're looking for and how any of these guys match up. I
just hope that I don't find anybody if we do this, because I would prefer to meet someone organically. Yeah, I wouldn't want to meet them. No hate to people who've met people on the apps. I just feel like that's not for me. And I think the apps are so far gone now that it's really rare now to meet someone on the apps that is genuinely there to find something.
I agree. Yeah, real. I've never been on an app like that other than like social media, like Instagram and like people sliding into your DMs and stuff like that, but not like an app. So well then if not that, then maybe we'll do a series where you go meet people in the wilds and like
and just record in the background.
And like you're gonna have a little microphone, a little earphone thing, and Joey and I will be in his car.
I'll have the little mic in here so you guys can hear what I'm saying. It's like, so do you like cheese?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're gonna be like, oh my god, your voice is so huge.
Kiss me.
Just kidding. Or something like that. Yeah, it could be fun.
I'll get coached by you guys.
Yeah,
but you guys can't just send me up to random people that you guys are just throwing me up there.
I mean, I know because I know we wanted. I would like to take it serious. I would like to take it serious. If you're opening yourself to the experience, I don't want to set yourself up to be ridiculed either.
Yeah,
it'll be funny.
Well, it's okay if we're ridiculed because we don't know these people. So I think now I'm more in a mindset where it's like...
But what I think could be cool or could be interesting about that dynamic is that to get you more comfortable approaching people in the wild.
But I don't think I have a problem approaching people.
There's just no one good to approach.
There's just no one that's approachable. Yeah. Like, and not that they're like, they look like dicks or assholes. It's just I don't.
No, I mean, I've been out in the wild with you, and there really hasn't been anyone to tickle your fancy like that.
Exactly. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well.
And it's unfortunate, but whatever.
It's a sad world out there. But you know what? The World Cup's coming.
Dude, F1 is going to be when we're in Coachella.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well,
that's another weekend that's like fun for for those kinds of activities.
Let's talk about quarter one. What's been going on in quarter one? Yes. What we've not missed, but what we've been through so far.
I'm just kidding. What has happened on?
Bad Bunny Bowl.
Oh yes, Benito Bowl.
The Benito Bowl. How did we feel about the Benito Bowl?
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Like I felt so
proud.
I feel proud to be Puerto Rican. I'm feeling like J-Lo up in this bitch. I'm just kidding. But no,
you're like Puerto Rican adjacent.
It was giving me gente Latina. You know? No, I did enjoy it very much. Yeah. And I did appreciate everything that went into it to like really showcase like obviously Puerto Rico and all the representation.
Yeah.
It was like huge, I think, to have that platform and to do what he did with that Super Bowl. Because he could have done so many other things, but the fact that he chose to sort of elevate those like that history and some of those like narratives of like immigrants and these cultures. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, I agree. I know there was conversations of like what you said of what he could have done. I think a lot of people, which is interesting because I think for people that don't want to be put in a box, they put Benito in a box.
Yeah.
And they're like, Benito is a reggaetonero. He's a rapper. Like, he needs to just bring, like, the energy and, like, just reggaeton in general and more so, like, the party vibe. And, like, so I know a lot of people weren't necessarily, like, happy with how he did the show, which... Sure, but at the same time, I'm like, you guys are putting this man in a box. Like, this guy is a pop star.
Speaking as someone who loves Benito from his trap era, like, you know I love that man down from that era, right? Yeah. I was very, like, I really appreciate his approach to it.
Yeah.
Because, he could have just, like, gone through all his, like, trap music and, like, but it was Benito's bowl, not Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
You know, like that era of him is sort of like, not necessarily it's come and gone, because obviously there's always that part to him. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll come around and stuff. But I feel like he's just like in a different era of his life, in a different era of his career. The things that matter to him now are not the things that were like mattering to him back then when he was trying to be put on and leaning into the trap music and the reggaeton and stuff, because that's what was selling. Now he's taken more like liberty with his craft and his art, and it's more meaningful.
Yeah, I think that's what people forget sometimes when it comes to these artists. It's like, when artists are signed to labels, they are putting out, not that they don't necessarily believe in what they're putting out,
but they're subject
to what the record label wants them to put out. Yeah. And then once they are big enough and successful enough, it's when the record label gives them a little bit more liberty and creative liberty as to what they want to put out. And I think you see that a lot with a lot of the artists who put out music. Like Bad Bunny is one of them. Beyonce is one of them. Taylor Swift technically is a part of that as well.
Right.
I would say maybe she had a little bit more creative liberty because of who her dad is, and she wrote her own music, and she already had connections in the record label itself and the industry. So it's a little different for her. But as far as like the people that don't really have those connections, which most of the time they usually do, like the connections are there a lot deeper than we know for some of these people. Like they've been in the industry or in the behind the scenes for a very long time, and it's literally like, what's that actor that that love story thing with JFK Jr. and
the guy, I don't know his name,
Paul, but you guys know who I'm talking about, right? The the Love Story series that came out. He's been in the acting industry for a long time, and this was his break. He was gonna give up on acting, and then he got this part, and I'm like, look at that, you know. And this man is married and has kids, and
he's like a full-on like working actor
now. Yeah. I know we just jumped from like Bad Bunny to Love Story.
Yeah. So all of that happened this year.
What else has happened? Oh, Ariana's going on tour. Hilary Duff is going on or
Oh, I
is
got
on
to
tour.
see Hilary Duff. And was it February?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah. So jealous. I think.
Yeah, my sister got us tickets. Shout out to her.
Tickets.
I know.
I'm so mad because I was logged in like literally 30 minutes before, and then work got in the way, of course. And then I totally forgot. And 30 minutes later, after it opened, I was like, "Oh shoot!" And I went in, and they were all sold out. And I was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, no, I mean, it was the Bull turn, so they were going to sell out quick.
Like,
and
this is not what dreams are made of.
I know, my sister had mentioned the thing, but like we never made like, oh, let's get tickets.
Yeah.
So I never even like did the work to be like, okay, let me try to sign on. Da, da, da. And then my sister happened to be like, I guess she was on top of it because then she's like, oh, I got the tickets.
Oh.
And I was just like,
Good for
oh,
her.
cool, you know?
Yeah.
That's why like Lucy was like, you got tickets, you didn't tell me. I was like, I didn't even know my sister was on that grab them.
That was very bitchy of you. No, I was kidding.
No, and it was great. No, and it was great because we went, we were actually like it was at the Wiltern, so they had like a really good general admission area, and we're right front and center. But I was also going to the concert with my sister who was 8 months pregnant
at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was kind of like, is she gonna be okay to be standing here?
Yeah.
So we ended up going to the handicapped area, which was like a step above from where we were at, which was fine. Like the views were great, and honestly, we were sitting down. And at this age, I appreciated the seat.
You know, for someone who judges me for always finding a seat, anywhere we go, I will find somewhere to sit down.
I didn't. Okay, so maybe before I maybe was a little judgmental about it, but now I get it, and I get it. I know you, and I get it, and I just love that you do that all the time.
Yeah, I will always find somewhere to sit.
The only one with the seat.
You win some, you lose some, babe.
That's just so funny. But yeah,
that's just what happens.
No, yeah, that was fun, and it was a really good concert. So I would recommend anybody that wants to go see her on tour.
But I'm like, I'm sure she'll go on tour again, hopefully.
Well, I mean, if it's successful and she puts out new music,
I'm sure she'll add dates.
If she needs money again, I'm sure she will.
Yeah,
like that's how you know people need money.
Yeah, pop star moment.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, we totally glazed over this. You're officially a Thea of 2 now.
Yes, I am. I guess I did bitch up in more than one way. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that is my bitch up moment. I am now a Thea of 2. Under 2.
Under 2.
2 under 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a handful. Not kidding. Like I'm the one that is raising them. No.
It's hard work being a full-time Thea, okay?
It really is. But it's great. It's really nice. I love that I get, like, now I'm getting to spend more time with my nephew, Manny, and then obviously having Clark at home too. It's
Clark
really
Kent.
Nice. It's really, yeah, he's a little man of steel. So it's so cute to have him and to just see him. Like every day he's just growing and it's just crazy.
He's so cute. He looks so much like Karen. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Karen.
Yeah.
Officially a mommy.
She is. Yeah.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's just like, it's been so cool to see my sister like also like lean into that like role.
Because like, it's her first time.
Her first time. She never thought she was going to have kids. And like now she has a whole kid. Yeah. And it's just like, he's so cute and perfect. And, and, you know, she's going through the motions of being a mom.
But it's okay because she has a great support system.
Yeah.
Obviously, she has you guys.
And my mom's, like, been there, too. Yeah. So she's, like, she has a good mentor.
And obviously your mom's, like, ecstatic.
Yes. My mom's so happy to have a new baby in the house.
So around late January, my cousins and I got together. Right. And we did, like, a game night. Uh-huh. And then we also did, like, goals that we wanted to set for ourselves. Like, one of my goals for this year, because if you guys don't recall or if you guys are new to the Bitch Up podcast, I am in the act of studying photography and trying to really hone in on that art and craft.
Yeah.
And so my goal for this year was to get at least like 5 photo shoots.
That's right, I remember.
And then also
I booked one.
She booked one.
My birthday shoot.
And I will hold her to that because she's always busy. She's like, I'm going to...
No, but you know, that's in the back of my mind. Like every time, like my boyfriend has asked me, like, oh, like your birthday this year, la la la.
She's turning 33.
And in the back of my head, I'm just thinking, like, I have to start thinking about that because this is...
Yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking about it too. I keep seeing ideas where I'm like, I don't know what you're open to, but we can discuss that. And then my other goal was to go on more solo dates and do more things like on my own, of course.
Yeah.
And so one of them was to go watch more movies, because I feel like
Right.
last year
You have been saying
I've
that.
been like, I want to go see this movie. I want to go to see this movie,
And
but
no
then
one wanted
no
to
one
go.
wanted to go with me. So, another bitch up. I went to go see a movie by myself for the first time, and it was a horror film.
Is that really the first time you ever watched
Yeah,
a movie
I've never
yourself?
gone to see a movie by myself.
Wow. Well, I love that for you, because it's
Yeah.
not like bad at all, right?
No,
it's
it was
a good
fun.
experience.
I went to go see Scream 7. I know it's a little controversial. I don't even know why I didn't even think about it until after I did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Lucy almost looked around and got canceled this year. Just kidding. In all other events, so just kidding.
I love the Scream franchise, but I understand like why people have
issue with it
and were protesting it. So I understand that, especially
in the box office.
Yeah, exactly. So I do understand that, and I respect that.
Because I feel like if you would have seen it like not in theaters, like people would probably have been like,
but I think it would have been the same thing though.
Well,
like, you know,
same in the sense that like the money,
like you're still streaming it.
You're still streaming it, but like box office and opening weekend, like that's when like it kind of like has a bigger impact of like sales and like how much support people went out to watch it. You know what I mean? But whatever, you did it.
So yeah, I fucked up. Sorry, guys.
Well, I feel like it was innocently done, because I don't think you realized.
You know what? Because when that whole thing went down, I was like, I was disappointed, because I actually did enjoy the new franchise that when they did it with Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. Like, I liked their...
they were pretty good movies.
And I think Scream 6 was really good, in my opinion. I actually really enjoyed it. It scared me. I think we
watched it together.
Yeah.
We went with
I was like, wow, they made Ghostface scary. Like,
it was a really good watch,
Yeah, and then watching Scream 7, I think I appreciated Scream 6 a little bit more. I liked Scream 7. I know a lot of people didn't necessarily like the ending. I understand why, but I think some people forget that sometimes some of these films work more as a setup for the next film. I think
they're like an intermediate sort of, especially if the franchise is really in a transition period because of all the protesting and all the politics that are involved with like the people that are involved, like the directors, the studio that finances it, and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I think 7 worked more as a setup for 8, which I think will be really good. But I do hope, and I respect Melissa if she never wants to come back, because I totally get it. I think, in the most part, like, I think it was miscommunication, and I know some people won't see it that way, but I do think it was more so the studio kind of falling into cancel culture and just letting go of Melissa without really, like, I don't know, I feel like they could have backed her a little bit more.
Yeah, she's an actor and she was a lead role in your franchise. Like, you would think that, like, out of respect for, I don't know, the contract you have with her, whatever, and, like, what she did for the franchise and the movie and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, like, in good faith of, like, okay, she's going to be part of future movies, that they would have had a better approach to it.
Yeah, because I'm like, I understand that some people feel her speaking out was controversial, and some of the things she might have said or that she backed may not have been well interpreted on her end. I know, like, the whole basis of, like, what happened, but I know there's situations where some of the things that she reposted weren't necessarily, like, what she was trying to say as far as, like, pro-Palestine. And again, I might be wrong. So I think that's where the miscommunication went.
Yeah, I think it was just, like, those things where she was obviously being pro-Palestine, but there was, like, a lot of things are like, oh, if you're pro-Palestine, you're anti-Semitic, or you're like anti-Israel, and this and that. And sometimes they are mutually exclusive. Anyway, it just sucks that, like, her stuff was, I don't know if it was taken out of context. It just sucked the way things worked out. But
because I think she's a great final girl. I enjoyed her as a final girl for Scream, and I think she could have really carried the franchise. I know a lot of Scream fans think that Neve Campbell should always be the lead in the Scream movies. Scream, again, is, like, so meta like that, where it makes fun of horror films and it makes fun of itself. Yeah. And it did do that in Scream 7, and it kind of touched on that. I mean, spoiler, but if you haven't seen it, whatever. Yeah. But they kind of touched on that, on how, like, some people are like, oh, she's too old to be, like, the leading. And it's like, she should always be the lead. Like, it's not Scream without her. Right. But I'm like, no, it can be Scream without her.
Well, I mean, there has to be a time when it's Scream without her, because, like, the franchise needs to go on.
Yeah.
it just sucks that I don't think there was anyone good enough to pick up the franchise because of everything that happened. That's why, like, we need her in this to really help sell this.
Yeah. But I think they had done a great job of setting up the new generation. Okay. Unfortunately, just the way everything kind of crumbled.
Yeah.
Was just sucks. But that's why I'm like, I hope that somehow the studio can make it up to Melissa and they can kind of just like make up.
I do think
they can continue.
And then you just wonder too, though, from like the public's perspective, like, is it enough for them to do right by her?
I think it could be.
I think from your perspective, right? But like, I feel like a lot of people are just like kind of like, you know, to your point of cancel culture, where they're kind of like, oh, why would we support this like studio or whatever, or this franchise that like did wrong by that?
Yeah, you know? But I think it's at this point,
especially
it's like,
since Palestine is still like not free. But I feel like there's bigger fish to fry than this franchise.
That's where I stand.
Like, I'm really concerned with like freeing Palestine. There's other things that people can do to be elevating voices and being more proactive and stuff, as opposed to just like attacking this franchise.
And I think this is where we've talked about it before too, where it's like, if you're going to do something to one thing, you need to be equal to everything else. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not going to support Scream 7 because you think that they're pro, you know, whatever,
or
then
they're
not pro Palestine, right, then you need to keep that up with same like energy. Target, Disneyland, every single other corporation that does that and has not basically spoken up in favor of that, or like
have also taken their part.
Exactly. Like, you need to keep it 100 with everybody. And so that's why for me, I'm like, I know it's so nuanced. It's so hard to do that because unfortunately we are so dependent on a lot of these corporations. So it's very hard to not go to Target. I understand some people, that's like where they buy everything, you know, they buy the groceries there. Yeah. So it's like very hard for them, which that's why I'm like, I don't judge you, but also if you're going to say that about somebody else supporting another,
I think where I think where I think I draw the line is like, I have no problem with you boycotting the franchise, with you like not being okay with it. I think when I take an issue is where you judge others for it.
Yeah.
For the reasons that you're saying, when it's kind of like, okay, well, like, do you cast the same judgment?
Like, you're being a hypocrite. But I agree. I think there's bigger fish to fry, and sometimes you need to cut the head of the snake to really fix problems, because these are just
distractions.
Because there's like, you can fight your way up, sure, but maybe just cut the head of the snake and everything else will crumble, and then you just gotta build up again, you know?
I mean, I've been trying to overwrite the system for years, and you know this.
Yeah, we gotta bitch up and...
I'm just like, delete.
But we delete this whole part of the podcast.
Yeah. And now we went into our political segment.
It's barely episode 1 and we're already here. I also went to go see Wuthering Heights with my cousin.
How was that?
It was good. I know a lot of people didn't like it.
See, that was another thing where it was also like, people didn't like it for like so many reasons. Some people were just like on their little highbrow horses. I remember like I took issue with it. Not necessarily that like I was like hating the movie, but like I remember when it first came out, like the casting and stuff, I was kind of like,
what didn't you like about the casting?
That's not Heathcliff, you know? Oh, okay. I would have appreciated a more racially ambiguous person to be casted for him, you know?
Why?
Because all of the Heathcliffs have been white, and it's just like, when are you guys going to do right by the actual source material? But then it's like, as I learned more about like who was producing this and like the director and like how it was like her vision, and obviously she was a white woman and stuff, so I was like, okay, like I get where she was going with it now. But with that, I was just like, I wasn't that interested in watching it. I'll probably pick it up as it circulates on like streaming services. But yeah, I mean, I did see a lot of like people that like enjoyed watching for it as like just the movie itself and not really tying it so closely to the actual novel or like the material, if you will, and really enjoyed watching. I know you really enjoyed watching it. Yeah. I did also see people that were like all atacados because of certain things with like what they did, but it's also like a really big book, a very long story, and there's so much layers to it that it is hard to kind of put into a movie.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm like, obviously I have never undertaken having to adapt a novel and
You're
stuff.
like,
So I was like,
could you direct and produce?
yeah. So I was just like, I can't sit there on like a high horse and be like, oh, why they did that. Like my first issue with it when I first heard rumblings of it, I was like, oh, that sucks. Like I would have loved to see somebody else. I have watched the other Wuthering Heights movies. I do like them. Shout out to Lord Voldemort when he played Heathcliff. I actually did like that version, but like, all right, that's one of the ones that I enjoyed watching the most, I think, from all the ones I've watched. But I mean, it is what it is. I liked the book, but it was like, I can see how some people that were like had very passionate takes on it, that because the book meant so much more to them.
Yeah.
So like, I understand where they're coming from in that respect, but it's also very subjective at the end of the day. And it's like,
yeah, I mean, I personally always like, been a Jane Eyre girl. Like that was my favorite Bronte book.
Yeah.
But Wuthering Heights, I have read several times. I read it in high school. I read it again in college because of the horror literature film class that I took in college, and then I reread it again before I went to go watch the movie just to like refresh my memory. And I personally don't think. I know a lot of people took issue with the casting of Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff because of the fact that he is a white man. However, having reread the book and learning who Heathcliff is, I don't necessarily think, especially in this political climate, that hiring a person who's ambiguously, or just a person of color in general to play Heathcliff would have been the right move. And I don't think...
How so? Like, what do you mean by not the right move?
I think just because of the way that things are going right now politically, and that people of color and immigrants are being attacked, that it kind of perpetuates a certain stereotype, because Heathcliff is not a good guy at all.
He's not, no.
And he is a horrible person.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people take issue with the way that Wuthering Heights is romanticized.
Oh yeah, that was one of the criticisms.
Yeah.
I saw too.
So I'm like, this is definitely not it's a love story, but it's a very toxic love story.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people were mad about the fact
dark.
It's very dark, yes. And they're like, well, Heathcliff being not white is part of his story, sure. But I don't necessarily think that it was the end all be all. I think that a lot of the things would have worked either way, and they have worked, as we've seen with the constant casting of a white man. It has worked because the reason he was mostly disliked, I feel, by Catherine's brother was because he was his dad's favorite, and he was favored by the dad.
Right.
And that's why Hindley, I think that's his name, if I recall.
Yeah.
That's why he hated him. It was because his dad liked him more than he liked his own son. I'm like, sure, there was maybe some racism there, but I'm like, I don't necessarily think that's the reason why he disliked Heathcliff. It's like,
I think, but when you think about it from like the otherness, right? And I think that's where like the racial undertones take into place, and then also looking at when the book was written and stuff. So like, I do think it's a little reductive to say that, but like, I do see how it works for like when you do cast them white folks, and how it does work, because at the end of the day, part of why he is the villain is because like he was wronged since he was little, and he's kind of like, I'm trying to catch my lick back.
Yeah.
In terms of how like not angry, but like why he's like this horrible person and this villain and stuff.
Yeah. But I think also people have this idea that Charlotte Bronte was this woke writer.
She wasn't. Like,
I don't think she was.
She wasn't, like, she didn't even have like
or maybe she was.
Knowledge.
I know that her father was very much like involved with people of color, and like that were like they were activists in a way, so I can see her being influenced in that way.
Yeah.
But I think that the way that she used Heathcliff was very much more
you guys are giving her too much credit.
Stereotypical way you would use a person of color.
Yeah.
Because it's like the person of color is the evil person in the story. It's not a white man who's causing all this pain. It's a person of color. So you're still stereotyping and typecasting
the person,
and that's why I say I don't think that
because you're like, why would a person of color be casted as a villain?
Because I'm like, a white person could do this. Yeah, a white person could go get revenge because they've been wronged.
A white person who has
So exactly. I think that's why the story still works, and I understand why people are like, oh no, he's a person of color, he's a person of color. Sure, but that's not that doesn't
And that's why I was like,
yeah.
that's why I said, like, as I learned more about, like, the director, like, who was producing it, like, her background and the work that she's done before, it made sense why she would cast someone like Jacob. She's also, like, worked with him before.
Yeah, they've worked
she recognizes
times,
the talent. The man is talented, you know?
Yes.
And it's just, like, so, like, I get... And that's why it's like, okay, then you can kind of get away from that bias, knowing that, like, well, this is... If you want to do it, then you go ahead and adapt it.
Yeah.
Make
and
your
they have put a person of color. I think it was in 2012 or so, and the actress who played Catherine. It was a series. I didn't watch it. I want to watch it just to see what it was, because a lot of people said it was good. And the actress who played Catherine, I actually like her. I met her through a series called Skins, and it's like
I remember that show, that UK.
Yeah,
show,
the UK show. And she's also in The Maze Runner. I think it was on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Really? I don't quote me. I don't remember. But I remember that I saw the series was being promoted because of all the Wuthering Heights stuff. And they're like, watch this one if you guys really want, like, a good take on Wuthering Heights and, like, accurate.
Or more accurate portrayal.
Of the book. But yeah, I mean, I think Wuthering Heights, overall, I enjoyed it. I think when it comes to movies, I think people need to be a little bit open-minded.
Yeah, because it's like, it's creative. It's an art form.
Yeah, it's a different type of art form.
And interpretation and medium. And you do have to take into consideration who's behind it. Right? Like, in terms of, like, who's putting it together, because there's a lot that goes into that. That's what I was like, as I learned more about, like, the directors on her interviews, and, like, again, we're familiar with her work, I'm like, okay, like, it makes sense why this would be the take she had, and it doesn't necessarily, like, doesn't have to be crucified. Yeah. You know, obviously, talking about her take in a larger, like, in the larger... Like, I guess in a larger perspective, like, to your point, because of everything else that's going on and stuff, like, there is something to be said of why this movie was put out and whatever. Yeah. But, I mean, we are living in a period where we are in a literary crisis, or we are in, like, an education crisis, where a lot of people's, like, attention span is not what it used to be. There's great concerns over people not reading, people not having critical thought and things like that. So I feel like that's where a lot of the criticism of people que se están atacando, like, oh, this is another thing that they're gonna like
take away
or dumb down or berate and stuff like that. I don't think that the position you want to take is, like, because then, like, that's
what turns people off, and that's why we are where we are, low key.
Exactly. It's like, you always talk about how, like, we should be more inclusive about things and, like, not necessarily be so divisive, right? So when people take that extreme position, like, it is a turnoff to other people that maybe, like, because of all of this that happened, there was a lot of people that were turned on to, like, hey, who's Charlotte Bronte? Hey, who's Wuthering Heights? Hey, let me pick up this book. Yeah, you know,
I'm sure.
So a lot of people were, like, picking up the book and reading it and doing their lucha to read it.
Barnes and Nobles,
which was, like, so cool.
Is back. Like, we saved Barnes and Nobles, you guys.
Yeah, and Lucy single-handedly.
Kept that place,
keeping the lights on over
my bank account
for years.
But thank you guys. We saved Barnes and Nobles.
We gotta give credit where credit is due.
You're welcome. Now you can go buy the Wuthering Heights book. I was kidding.
Fun fact, Lucy bought me my Wuthering Heights book years ago. Yeah. And I remember because we would go to Barnes & Noble, and I remember I came across it, and I'm like, oh, I really like this book when I read it. And you bought me that for, I think it was like a Christmas or something.
Yeah, I forget.
It was years ago, yeah.
Full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I do think that they're obviously, in the film industry right now, they're what's it called?
Regurgitating? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Revisiting
a lot of the classic literature. Dracula, Frankenstein, Wuthering Heights. Which one's next? There's another one that's Phantom of the Opera, I think, is getting lit with...
I'm actually looking for...
Me too. I love Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera and Hunchback of Notre Dame, I think, is also something.
And what is it?
Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, yes. That one's also, like, very much, like, hot and popping again.
Yeah, I think it's already in the works, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is. And then there's also, what is it? Honorable mention. Pride and Prejudice is having that series that they're doing. Yeah.
Yes. How do we feel about that?
I'm excited to watch it. Like,
I know people are upset about Darcy.
Yeah. I'm never not gonna, like, not watch something like that. Like, that's why, like, even the Wuthering Heights movie, I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, reluctantly never watch it. Like, I'm gonna watch it. I just didn't go out of my way to go watch it because my girl was busy. Other things were happening.
Yeah.
But, like, it'll make it across my desk at some point. But yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I want to watch it and see, like, what the new take on it is.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting. Yeah, I want to see
and
the
the
series.
and the casting and stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see how they do with the material, and like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
But I do think it's funny that you mentioned the whole literacy thing, because I think and we've talked about this before on the podcast, where the, what's it called, the pendulum is swinging, so it goes from like one extreme to the other. So for, I think right now a lot of people, like, there's a lot of illiteracy happening. So I do think that the pendulum is slowly going to swing to like the opposite end, where everybody is going to go back to wanting to learn
Be
and
educated and
education.
Well, I mean, we've seen
the renaissance of,
we see the horrors of like being uneducated and what that does to you. And I don't mean this in any like elitist way kind of thing, but like, no, like, this is why we are where we are in a society. And I'm not blaming anyone, because I know
everybody
it's a
has
structural
fault.
issue.
Yeah,
No,
everybody
because
has a
I
fault.
know, I understand there's a structural issue
Mhm.
why our education system sucks. Like, we have no funding for it, first of all.
Yeah.
We don't pay our teachers what they are supposed to be getting paid. We don't set people up for success. Like, I get that. College isn't free. We have to pay to, like, you know, so like, I get that. And that's why I said, like, I don't mean it in an elitist way in any way whatsoever, but like, we really are seeing like, wow, like, it really, how detrimental it is for someone to not have like a means to learn how to read, to know how to have critical thought, to make decisions for themselves, and to not just be fed this narrative through the media or through whomever, and for you to question that. Like, a lot of people are just like, take what is being sold to them or presented to them through all this media that's out there, and like, there's no like second thought or afterthought of like, oh, what truth is this? You know, is this even true? You know, or like, have questions about it, or just be inquisitive about things.
Yeah.
And it sucks, because I feel like we'd be in a different place if more people had that kind of.
But I think also now it's more so, and I know a lot of people are like, we don't have the patience for people to, I think right now people are more so like, people need to start educating themselves, because they no longer have the patience to continuously tell people like, this is why this is happening. But I think but also I'm like, we have to continue being patient with people.
Mhm.
And I think just showing up with love, and I think this is something that we've discussed before. It's like,
Yeah.
we need to continue showing up with love, guys. Like, I understand it's a very
graceful.
hard time right now, but us continuously just being divisive with each other is
Yeah.
not helping.
I mean, I'm always like a proponent for sharing the knowledge.
Mhm.
You know, like, you don't, if you want to, no one's forcing you to share any knowledge, right?
Yeah.
I do understand where some people get frustrated over that, especially because we live in a world where a lot of information is accessible, but then, like I said, it's not one side. It's very nuanced. Like,
sorry about that technical difficulty.
Yeah.
We were talking about people wanting to be more educated now, or being more inspired to be educated.
Well, yeah, because as a follow-up to what you were saying, because I think you were saying how we are also in a time where a lot of people are frustrated, a lot of people are tired, and a lot of people have no patience for people that are not woke, for lack of a better word, or that don't know some of these things, right?
Or just ignorant in some.
Or ignorant, and I can understand that, or I can have empathy with that, because I myself have had those moments. You guys have heard it on the podcast, especially when I've had my incredibly hot takes. So like, I get it, but I do see like, people being inspired to like learn and educate themselves, especially in a period where we're at right now, where so much is at stake and so many rights seem to be violated, or like our well-being, like the State of the Union. I'm just kidding. I've been saying that this is the State of the Union episode. So, and people are kind of like, how do we fight back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we've talked about, building communities and this and that, but I think a huge part of that is educating yourself, and not like educating yourself to say like, oh, I went to school, or I know this or that. It's just so that you know more about like what's going on in the world, and again, so that you can be more inquisitive about what's going on and why things are happening. And if you do want to be part of the change, or if you want to advocate for other people, especially people that are not in the same position as you're better suited for it, like the more you know and the more knowledgeable you are. So whether it's like you're going to college, whether you're just like keeping up with current events, whether you're listening to people that are putting some of this knowledge out, or just like teaching you how to be a critical thinker, or just how to like ask more questions about what's going on, or just being resourceful. So I do see a resurgence of that. I do see a lot of people being like, okay, I need to just know more and asking questions, and I appreciate that, and I see that too. So
I think At least
it's like gives me hope. I'm like, I should go back to school.
I mean, I do want to go back to school, but I do agree that obviously we know that I think I've been talking about this. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I'm like, going to school is a privilege. Like us having our degrees is a privilege.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Because it shouldn't be a
and
privilege.
That's what I was talking about earlier. It's like I recognize the part where it's like when I say like, oh, it's just because no one, like, people don't know or people aren't educated, and it's not to say that it's their fault, because everybody has had the privilege for it.
Also, the amount of people that we've missed out on, doctors, lawyers, that can't go to school or afford to go to school because they have to hold down their family, and it's like, if I go to college, like, who's going to hold down the fort here?
No, yeah.
And that's crazy to me.
No, and even now, like, I know you and I have both had those, like, honest conversations when we've talked about, like, wanting to go back to school and, like, what kind of path we would take, but recognizing what's at stake if we do, right? Like, it's like, if we go back to school, like, we would have to pause on, like, we'd probably have to take a step back at work. We have to take a step back on the pot. And, you know, this is our second job, you know, or just things, and realizing like, wait, like, could I afford to even do that? And it sucks that you have to, like, that keeps you from that, because you're like, oh.
And here's to say, it's not like it's not doable. It very much is, you know.
Yeah, because a lot of people are doing it. Yeah.
And sure, I could definitely do that, but I don't think that those should be the norm, or
like that shouldn't be,
that should not be
that hard.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that difficult where people have to sacrifice that
or
way.
Inaccessible at least.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it also comes to a point where you just have to be willing to listen to people. I know it's like, yes, you know things, but because there's so much misinformation happening right now, especially with AI, there is a lot of misinformation happening right now.
Yeah.
And even though you're educating yourself, like, you're going to be misinformed. And I think this is where community comes in, where you're willing to listen to people who may not have the same opinion as you.
Yeah.
But, like, at this point, we are going at each other's necks while people are fucking shit up in the government.
And should be under their necks.
Yeah, exactly.
Their neck. We have the same enemy at the end of the day.
Exactly. So. I'm like, we need to, like, get it together, clock in, everybody clock in. And get shit done. And that's what I've been thinking about. I'm like, we're all complaining. We're all upset, frustrated with the situation.
We're all tired.
But we're not
doing anything about it.
It's not that we're not even doing anything.
Because I know people are doing
What is the plan? You know what I mean? Like, what is the plan?
Yeah.
Even if we were to do something, what happens after? What can we all agree to that's going to work for everyone? And that's what I think about. And I'm like, fuck. Because no one's going to come to agree on anything. So how are we going to get together and do something when we can't even agree on, like, the basic necessities of human rights?
Right. Yeah.
You know? So that's where my mind's at now.
Like, so that's where she crashes.
And I'm like, okay, how am I going to take over the world, and how am I going to, like, keep this ship from sinking?
Once did you hear her? How is she gonna do all this? Well, that's your first problem, the fact that you think you have to do all of this.
Well, I mean, someone has to do something.
Like, everybody's so stupid. I mean, I'm just gonna do it because I know what's right.
I kept Barnes and Nobles from sinking, so if I could keep Barnes and Nobles from sinking,
you know what?
I can keep.
Have you seen the Staples baddie? You should be the Barnes and Nobles baddie. Like, you should really.
Yeah, the Staples baddie is keeping Staples alive. Do you know how many people started going to Staples now because of all this stuff?
I have started going to Staples. Yeah, I mean, I was already going to Staples because I don't have a printer. I would love to use their printer services, but yeah, I started using it for other things.
And by the way, you're included in my plan of taking over. I'm like, okay, me and Shelly need to figure this out.
No, it was funny because Lucy and I went out to dinner a while back, and we were just like, well, now we have to figure it out. And I was like, now the podcast is going to pivot to we're going to create a network of people. And this is how we're going to
bitch up.
Yeah. It's called Operation Bitch Up. And
bitch
Save
up
America.
World Peace.
No, I mean, yeah, I guess we can do the rest of the world too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because I think people forget that even though shit's happening right now in the United States, like, what happens in the United States affects other countries.
Not just that, like, the state of the world has been on a downward spiral for, like, ever.
Like, everything's interconnected, guys.
It's never been okay. This is why we are where we're at now.
Yeah.
And that's why we continue to start these bullshit wars over stupid stuff.
But that's why it's like everything's interconnected. So when something happens abroad, it's going to affect us, whether we feel it now or we feel it, like, 10 years from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's where we are right now. We're trying to bitch up and get world peace. So if you guys are down for that, showing the podcast, subscribe, like, and we'll start.
And send us suggestions.
You know what? Maybe,
where should we start?
Yeah, maybe that should be if we do a Patreon, if we ever do that, that'll be what it is. It's us aligning.
Us just like planning and scheming to take down.
To fix the world.
By taking down one idiot man at a time. No, just kidding. Government. One idiot man in government.
You guys, this whole thing goes black and like we get blocked.
I'm telling you.
Well, on lighter news.
Yeah, let's talk about good things that have happened this year.
Michael B. Jordan got an Oscar.
Yeah, he did.
Congrats, bro.
Snaps. And he looks so damn well doing it, too.
Dude, I didn't watch the Oscars, if I'm being quite honest, but I did watch a clip. And I was following the Oscar campaigns. I was following some of it because of like Michael B. Jordan, the Timothée Chalamet of it all, and his comments on ballet. Speaking of ballet.
How fucking dare he?
Hot take. I don't think he said anything wrong. I think
really.
I don't necessarily. I understood what he was trying to say.
Speaking as an adult ballet,
speaking as someone who took adult ballet, and we talked about how it's not accessible to adults. Mm-hmm. He wasn't wrong. I think in hindsight, ballet and opera are very niche. Like you said,
they're very highbrow arts, and they've kept them that way.
And
for so
it's
long.
Specific to certain. I would say it's almost classist. I think that's what it's identified. It's exclusionary.
And part of its whole like allure is that it's very highbrow exclusive. And like only certain people are like,
can even afford to get to some of these. So especially with certain ballet companies, right? We talk about the Russian ballet. Mm-hmm. So I think in that aspect, he may have a point.
So you think his stuff was kind of taken out of context and stuff?
I think that what he was saying, he was not too far off. Mm-hmm. I think that people took it. I think people who don't even go see the ballet or opera got butthurt. And I'm like, this is what we're talking about. You guys are getting upset over someone saying something, but you don't even go support those arts. You guys don't even go watch ballet. You don't go watch an opera. What's the last opera show that you've gone to go see? I haven't seen. I've never been to the opera. Not that I don't want to.
I watched Man in La Mancha, okay? And it was in high school.
I want to go see a ballet show. I want to go see the ballet. I want to go see Swan Lake. I want to go see the Nutcracker. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, when the time comes, I'm like, oh, these tickets are a little pricey. I can't do that right now.
No, that's so true because literally, I think, what was it that was recently playing? Well, I had told you about Swan Lake, but then obviously that came and went and it didn't work with our schedules.
Yeah.
And there's one that's happening in Irvine. And I remember I was like, oh, this would be cool. And I was like, oh, I'm going to tell Lucy if she wants to like do it. Mm-hmm. And then I looked at the ticket prices.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you guys have any student discounts? Alumni discounts? And I was like, well, this sucks because, and then I've seen also like at the Pantages Theater, they have the Phantom of the Opera too.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I'd love to see that. Yes. Same thing. And I was just like,
yeah. So when it comes to that, I don't think what Timothée said was necessarily wrong. I think that he does make good points, but this is where the aspect of listening and having a discussion comes into play instead of just
people were just trying to like
hanging the man for saying something that he has.
People were just hating on him because of the awards that he won because they didn't think that one fucking movie should have won it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like
this was their opportunity
his family
to take
is in ballet. Down. His mom is a ballerina. His sister's a ballerina.
Well, I think that's why people were like, oh, how dare you?
Yeah, like a man of the arts, like French Timothée.
I was like, he's a man of the arts. He's been a man of the arts. Have you not seen his archive?
Yeah.
So that's why I was just like, that's crazy that he would say something like that. But like when you talk about it in that perspective, maybe he was critiquing it, but like, he came from a place of like knowing the industry and had some sort of standing.
Well, because I mean, you have to also think about like why he was saying it, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like
he was talking about film. He's in an industry of film. Mm-hmm. Right now, we can say that the film industry isn't doing that great. You know, like they keep regurgitating the same shit over and over again because they lack creativity. Yeah. They're not hiring new writers, younger writers.
Yeah, and they're like turning to like AI and all this like they're doing a bunch of shortcuts with it. Also, the quality of movies suck. Because why? Our attention span is smaller, so they're not even putting good movies out. They're like, what is going to keep people engaged for this amount of time? So we got to slow down the storylines. We got to make them either not necessarily slower, but we have to
speed them up.
We have to dumb them down, and you dumb them down by speeding them up so that you can keep engaged.
And you can't flesh out the character personalities. Can't. Exactly.
And then that's why things fall so flat. I forgot what movie I was watching the other day, and I was just like,
What?
This was stupid. Like, in the sense of how they could have done so much more with this, and this is what they gave us. What freaking movie was I watching? Because I was just really like appalled by it.
But I think that's where he was coming from. I'm like, I think I can see how the movie industry is kind of going that way, where it's like, you guys are just really fucking up the industry, and it's going to be, people are no longer interested in going to the movies because I'm wasting my money and this movie fucking sucks. And then now all the movies are going to streaming. So they're not even getting box office hits. So
I mean, you saw, what was it?
Frankenstein,
which I think would have been a box office hit.
Yeah, and it only went to certain theaters.
Because he also, like, he is actually one of those old school people that still loves the craft and loves what he does, and that's why he puts a lot of thought into it. And even his techniques are very, like,
and that's why in that interview with Timothy and Matthew McConaughey, they were talking about how they're promoting movies and how Timothy has been taking a certain avenue of promoting a film. And his whole Marty Supreme thing was a bit. It was a bit, guys. Like, his personality that he's been showing.
And he played it so well that people fucking hate him because they think that's his personality.
Exactly.
And that they thought Marty
and now they're blaming Kylie Jenner for his personality. It's like, God,
and
you
that's
guys,
that on misogyny. Okay, that's that on misogyny. Because why are they going to blame Kylie?
What Kylie do? Date the man?
Yeah, literally. She can't catch a break either.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? No, they literally think Marty Supreme said the ballet comment, and that's why they're hating on it so bad. They're like, forgetting.
They're like, who gives a fuck about Ping Pong movie? I'm like, y'all didn't watch the. I mean, I didn't watch the movie, to be quite honest. But I'm like, it's not just about ping pong. Like, I don't think you guys got the message.
It's like Challengers. I didn't watch Marty Supreme, and I didn't watch any of his like Oscar campaigning, so I don't know about the movie.
I will say I haven't watched the movie. So I might be speaking out of my ass right now.
So me thinks.
That you should shut up.
Yeah.
But I think that, and this is us going back to the literacy thing. I'm like, I don't think you guys are catching the message of the movie if you think it's just about ping pong. Because sport films are never just about the sport.
No, I'm talking Challengers. Remember we watched Challengers? That was good.
Remember the Titans. It wasn't just about football, guys.
That movie.
Like, come on. Anyways, let's go back to Michael B. Jordan because we totally spent through that.
No, because but I just remembered what movie I watched that, and it was Matthew McConaughey was in it, which The Lost Bus. Did you? I
didn't watch it, but I
recently watched it, and it was good to the point where like I was very invested because we're California residents, so we're familiar with the fires that happened in Northern California throughout those years, and the devastation that it was, and how it was freaking SPG's fault and stuff, and all the people that died and all the damages and stuff. So that's why I was like invested in it, because it was
like you knew the context.
I knew the context, and it was also based on true events. But it was funny because there's parts in the movie where I was like, that seemed kind of like poor writing or cheesy. Like certain parts about his character and his like background and his like dynamic with like his kid and his wife, I was just not sold into it. And I was just like, I feel like you could have done a better job at that. But when it came down to like the actual part of like him saving the day and like that part, like it worked out. I'm like, okay.
Going back to your whole thing about like people don't or have a short span attention, I don't even think it's that. I think it's just like people are willing to watch 3-hour films, 4-hour films if it's good. The Dune films that are coming out, they're long, but they're good.
Frankenstein was 3 hours long.
And I haven't watched it, but it looked good. I know some people had some issues with it.
Yeah.
The way that it was written or the way it was portrayed. But again, it's a director.
But then again, it's like, look at
the director.
It was a Mexican director. Yeah. The man was doing Mexican goth. He was not doing Mary Shelley.
Yeah. If you guys want Mary Shelley, go.
First of all, he was a boy doing, it's like,
And it's like, if you think about what Frankenstein is,
and
we can probably get into Frankenstein.
Is so important.
Yeah, we'll get into you know what? For Halloween, we should maybe get into the whole classic literature stuff again. Maybe we'll think about that.
Yeah,
but so we can kind of.
I thought it was gonna be for our costumes.
Dress up as Frankenstein.
It's gonna be like famous authors and their monsters. So it'll be like Mary Shelley and Frankenstein.
You're Frankenstein because you're tall.
Yeah.
Well, you're the monster.
Mary Shelley, yeah. That's why I'll be the monster.
Yeah. Because Frankenstein is the scientist.
Oh, true. Yeah. I'll be the monster.
Okay.
And you'll be Frankenstein.
And then...
Because you're the real monster.
Cut that.
And that's because you didn't watch the movie, but when you watch the movie, you'll get
it. I wanted to watch it in theaters. But I didn't realize it wasn't in theaters. So
that's why she missed it, because she was waiting for it to be in theaters. That's like, oops. I remember because I was like, it's on Netflix.
And I was like, I don't want to watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Anyways, Michael B. Jordan won Oscars.
Yes, he did.
So
Our Black
proud of
Panther
him.
won him. Oh wait, no, that was. And she. With that, I'm officially canceled. Goodbye.
You know what? We might get canceled.
This is not a good idea. Why did you want to put us on video? We have no media training.
Our first episode of season 4 on YouTube were canceled. Like, who are these bitches?
Like, we, instead of getting more followers, we're just gonna get haters. And I'm like, so long as we get views, I guess.
Look it.
Literally. Okay, sorry.
No,
go back.
Brianna and I were talking about Michael B. Jordan because obviously he won for his role in Sinners. He played the twins, Stack and Smoke,
vampire.
And I thought it was interesting because Sinners is technically a horror film.
It is.
And horror films have a very hard time winning these type of awards.
Yeah, because people think it's more like lowbrow.
Yeah.
Like they
same
don't
with
take
sci-fi.
it
Same with
yeah.
sci-fi. It's very hard for these type. That's why even Lord of the Rings winning several Oscars was big because it was a fantasy film. So it's like when movies like this win, it's a big deal. Especially even the actress who won Best Actress, like her film is also technically horror. Mm-hmm. So it's like, damn, horror films are
out here. What does it say about the times
where
that
we
we're
at?
in? You know,
I saw in his interview that he did a lot of chakra work and like journaling
to
like separate the twins.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's so interesting, the whole chakra work, because I'm like, the way chakras work, it's like what's blocked and like how that.
How he gave life to the characters was crazy because you're right. Like I did see a lot of that too, and how there was just so many like the mannerisms, even the voice and the way the inflection and stuff, and the way they stood. Like he really would embody a completely different person.
Yeah, I believed it. I was like, this is 2 different people. I forget it's one actor.
And then the vampire version of it, like. Which was insane. But like that's pretty cool because you just see again how much love and respect they had for the project, that's how much they invested in like getting that, and all the research that was to like not to be historically accurate, even with like his accent and some of the mannerisms and things that he was saying.
Yeah,
doing.
And this comes to show like good writing.
Shout out to y'all clan. No, I'm just kidding.
How good writing could get you such a long way. Yes. But I also think it's important, and I think that this is something that we've seen like throughout the film industry, is when an actor and a director build a great relationship. We saw it with Kirsten Dunst and is it Coppola?
Virgin Suicides,
and then didn't she also do Mary Antoinette?
Oh yes.
Right. So like you see the relationship grow when they're constantly working together. Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan,
because you nurture the talent,
exactly.
You nurture the story,
and you nurture also opportunities for other actors where you're like, hey, we're doing so well in our movies that we can hire the actors. And that's why I think it's when we go back to Jacob Elordi and
the director.
Oh my God,
Saltburn.
The actress. What's her name?
Oh, Miss. Hold on. What's her name?
Margot Robbie?
Yes,
Margot Robbie and the relationship.
All that's going through my head is like Barbie and like
Harley Quinn.
No, I'm thinking Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
What was her name? Because he would call her the Duchess. So I kept thinking the Duchess.
Yeah. So like, even her relationship with the director there, like they have had a long-standing relationship. Jacob Elordi obviously has had a long-standing relationship with her because I think he first worked with her in Saltburn. So it's like these type of relationships are so important, and you start seeing them throughout the industry because that's how great films are made. And it's like when the actors feel comfortable working with the director and trust the vision.
Your friends, you trust. Yeah. There's that trust.
So I think that needs to be more of a thing throughout the industry.
Yeah, and hopefully it is, because you certainly have people with the talent and with like
the desire
to create that kind of like community within the film industry, right? But then you get a lot of the politics and the money.
It's always the higher ups that are fucking shit up.
Yeah, it really is. That's why you have more people wanting to do things like independent work and building their own media companies so that they can put out the type of movies that they want to see.
But I will say this year, a lot of good movies are going to happen. Like, there's a lot that's
Speaking
coming
into
up.
existence.
I want to go see, what's that movie with Ryan Gosling that just came out?
I don't think I've seen the preview for that yet. I know
It just came out. Project Hail Mary. And it's a sci-fi film. But, and this is, we can probably talk it throughout the season, but I think it's so interesting that there's a lot of like Mary references happening in the film industry right now. Project Hail Mary, I don't know what it's about, but I think it's interesting that Hail Mary is like a name of it, because if we know football terms like a Hail Mary, right, it's usually like a play that's comes out of left wing. It's
like the odds of it actually working
through, but then also like the religious aspect of
it's
Hail
a miracle
Mary,
because
right?
it's like it happens.
Exactly. And then you have the Anne Hathaway movie, which she plays a pop star, but there's a lot of references to the goddess Mary, and I think Mary is in the name of the title. So I'm like, that's interesting. I don't think
I've seen that one either.
I've seen a lot of trailers, and I actually want to go see that one. It looks good. It's coming out this year also. Devil Wears Prada is coming out.
I'm excited for that.
The new Harry Potter series is coming out in December. Dune is coming out in December. Marvel Doomsday is coming out in December. So we are going to be fed this year with movies.
Lucy's going to be fed in December.
My birthday's in December.
That's what I'm saying. Like all these movies.
Christmas, I'm going to be fed, and I'm going to be fed.
Yeah. She's going to be fed in all aspects.
In every aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think, but this is my conspiracy. I'm like, it's so interesting that we hear a lot of talks about the matriarchy coming back into the world
consciousness.
Yes, and now there's a whole bunch of movies that are related in some way to the matriarchy. So just putting it out there, just thought it would be interesting.
Mary being the mother of matriarch. Just kidding.
I think it's more so like the feminine energy that's being like promoted this year.
Okay. And it'll be interesting to see how it is promoted and under what lens and like how it is portrayed.
Exactly. And that's why I want to go see this movie that Ryan Gosling.
Because what exactly are they trying to say?
Yeah, because I'm like we said, we already kind of analyzed it based on the title, and like they kind of both mesh up with like the football terms and the whole religious terms. So I'm like, now, and it's obviously alien related, so we just have to see. But yeah, I mean, first episode of the season
in the can.
So I hope you guys enjoyed going down this huge rabbit hole with us and just kind of reminiscing on what's been going on this first quarter of the year. Obviously.
Look at us. We're so corporate.
Yeah.
First quarter.
Thank you for joining us on this meeting. Did anybody have any questions? Can you guys see us? Can you guys see your screen?
Actually, I would like to take that offline.
Can you guys check in offline? Go follow, subscribe, and leave a comment. What should if you guys ever see, this is kind of corny.
What?
But if you guys have come to this point,
if you guys have made it this far, thank you so much.
And yes. Should they comment something below? Like, what should we tell them?
I survived. I survived.
I survived quarter one.
Yeah, literally.
Comment that if you made it this far. Like one comment. And it's going to be your sister.
I survived all quarters of this episode.
But yeah, there's a lot that
seriously, shout out to Karen.
But yeah, guys, I think this is it for this episode. Obviously, we have a lot of fun things coming up this season. Let us know if there's anything that you guys would like us to cover or any fun topics. We're pretty open-minded, as you can see. We love to chat.
Yeah, and obviously not all episodes are going to be like this. This was just like a fun kind of like getting reacquainted with you guys, catching up, talking about things that have been
on our minds. And on our hearts.
Yeah, we have a lot to say, so we're going to have more to say the rest of the season, but we're looking forward to the episodes that are coming and all the content that we're planning.
Actually, the comment should be world peace. That's what the comment should be.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you. Bye.
Don't forget to bitch up.
And be you.
Bye.
Adios.